All right, what's up? What's up? Let me make sure I'm live. But the title of today's discussion is Manifesting Despite Emotions. Emotions are feedback and not the final truth. All right? So, yeah. All right. Okay, so it does seem like, we've had a lot of conversations and, I felt a little bit of uncertainty when it comes to emotions. So, we're going to take today to simply talk about emotions, what they mean, how you should work through them, what they're trying to tell you, all these things, right? So let's get right into it. Okay. All right. We often mistake emotions for identity. A wave of sadness comes and we say, I am sad. A flash of anger, and suddenly we are an angry person. But feelings are not facts, they are feedback. Emotions are your inner guidance system, right? Talked about the internal guidance system a lot. Emotions are the effect, they're not the cause, right? You have an emotion because you've been thinking a certain way. You've been expecting things a certain way. These things have been playing out in your life in the past, and you're pulling your past into the present moment, and now you have an emotion. Okay, this is what an emotion is. So emotions are your inner guidance system responding to what you believe to be true about a moment, not necessarily what is true. So they highlight what you believe to be true about a moment, not necessarily what is true. They are signals, not shackles. Like the dashboard lights in a car, they alert you to your inner alignment or misalignment. I like that metaphor. Your emotions are like the guidance system in your car. Your engine light pops on because you're jealous, right? Your tire is flat because you are angry about something. It's just a check engine light. It's a sign for you. It's a signal. It's your internal guidance system speaking to you and saying, okay, look within. It's time to fix something. Time to work something out. All right. So they are not signals, or they are signals, not shackles. Like the dashboard lights in a car, they alert you to your inner alignment or misalignment. But you are not the dashboard. You are the driver. And the driver can choose a different route even when the signal flares red, right? If you have those new cars, okay? You have those new cars and they have a lane detection system in it, right? So you can drive down the middle of the lane, and if you get too close, they'll pull you back. But sometimes with technology, right? Somebody could be, exiting, or there might be an exit, and all of a sudden your car does not know what to do. It starts to do its own thing. Think about emotions like this. There are often times where you just have emotions for whatever reason. A situation looks a certain way. You're going through a certain thing. And now your emotion comes in. Now your body just wants to start driving down the path of the emotions. You have to be conscious enough. You have to be aware enough. You have to be a good enough driver of yourself. A good enough driver of yourself to actually keep the car going down the right direction. This is your job. You're the driver. Your body's always going to give you signals. It's going to give you the check engine light. You're feeling jealous, check engine light. It's going to give you whatever light to notify you that something is going on. How do you respond to that light? You start freaking out when you see the light? Or do you continue to walk that narrow path, that right path, that righteous path towards what you want, okay? So the deeper truth is this: you are not your emotional weather. You are the sky it moves through, the core of your being, the divine self, the witness, the unshakable, formless I am remains untouched even when the storm rolls in. Emotions come and go because they are rooted in temporary interpretations, conditioned stories, and subconscious programming, right? Anything that changes is not real. It's a real experience. It's a very real experience, but if it's temporary, it's not real. The only thing that's real is I am. It is your awareness of source, your awareness of who you are, okay? But the self that observes the emotion is eternal. When you remember that, you can feel fully without getting lost. You can let your emotions inform you without letting them define you. One of the things that, I was talking to a client with earlier today was what really clicked for them is they were like, now I'm just living life the way that I used to live life before I learned about all this manifesting. Exactly. You live life the same way that you lived it before. The only difference is now you know that everything's always going to work out for you. You simply replace your expectations for shitty outcomes with expectations for good ones. That's it. You go through life the exact same way, right? A lot of people, we get on this journey, all of a sudden you become more anxious, more frustrated, more trying to manage all of your emotions, trying to control situations, trying to affirm your way through everything. Just live your life. Just live your life and simply know that you are source. This is the only difference. What is the difference? It is, instead of striving, it is knowing that I am right now, no matter what. I'm worthy of everything I want right now, no matter what. Right? So it's almost like we come into this thinking that we have to do this big transformation. You are source. You are whole and complete in source right now. You are all that there is right now. You're the greatest version of yourself right now. Argue with yourself for your limitations. I don't want to hear it. You are as whole, as complete, as divine, as worthy as you will ever be right now. You can't get any more worthy. The only thing that keeps you from that worthiness is you believe that you're not. Arguing for limitations. Well, I just don't feel like it. Arguing for limitations. Well, yeah, sometimes I feel good. What about the work that I have to do? Arguing for limitations. Anything after the but is bullshit. Right now, you are the most worthy you'll ever be. The most whole you'll ever be. The only person that's keeping you from living in that truth is you. It's us. We're the only people that keep us from living there, okay? So let's get further into these emotions, okay? The I am remains untouched even when the storm rolls in. Emotions come and go because they are rooted in temporary interpretations, conditioned stories, and subconscious programming. But the self that observes the emotion is eternal. That's you. When you remember that, you can feel fully without getting lost. You can let your emotions inform you without letting them define you. A life trying to walk around and beat your emotions into submission and control all of your emotions, and oh man, that sounds miserable. What kind of difficult life is this? I didn't sign up for that. None of you did. Yet we get into this space and all of a sudden we think, okay. Instead of me working hard, in reality, working hard to try to make this person like me, working hard to make this job accept me, now I just have to work hard to suppress my emotions and control my emotions and point them the right way. No. You're gonna live your life the exact same way. You're gonna strive less now. You're gonna enjoy life more now. You're simply gonna know everything is working out for you. This is the only difference. We're the ones who complicated making all these rules. Well, what about this? Well, what if I don't have money? Imagine it. It's all working out for you. It's all unfolding for you. Go to the end and stay there. Well, what if this person did that? What if I feel like this? What about this? We will come up with it any time that you have, a thought or a doubt when you're on this journey, right? You have a thought or a doubt. If you could question your own question and say, if I said yes to this, would it mean that I'm not worthy right now? And if the answer is yes, if what you are asking about implies that you're not worthy right now, the answer is no. If you say, well, how do I have to respond to this situation? Okay, if you have to respond a certain way, what does that mean? It means you're not worthy right now, right? It means once I get there, then if I do the right thing, then I can get what I want. It's irrelevant. Go to the end and stay there. You already have it, so it doesn't matter how you're acting. Stop. We say we have it on one hand, and then all of a sudden we go down the middle path of the story and we act like we don't. We ask questions like we don't. Well, what if I've been doing it? What if I've been manifesting for so long? What does that mean, manifesting? Go to the end, claim that you have it, and stay as there. Stop being hot and cold, wishy-washy, right? If a bad situation, you perceived a bad situation was going to happen, you would sit up night and day worrying about it, stressing about it, not taking your mind off of it. But when I say, okay, why don't you just focus on the good things? Now it's a problem. Now we can't do that shit. Why? If the only thing between you and the life that you want is you sitting your ass down in the end, saying, I have it, refusing to see anything as against it, believing that everything was working out for you, even if it looked like shit, even if it looked good, enjoying your life normally, stop not overly focusing on these processes, believing if I have to do a process, then I'll get it. There's another question. Okay, and do I have to affirm like this? Should I do it at night? How should I say this affirmation? What if I'm saying it right? Is my visualization correct? What about this? What about that? If the question implies that you don't already have it, the answer is don't do the shit. The answer is it doesn't matter. If what you are thinking about implies that you don't have it right now, okay? What if you don't know what you want next and you can't decide on your next, the end? Enjoy life then. Enjoy life then. Enjoy life until the next desire pops up and then go to the end of that. That's it. Enjoy life until the next desire pops up and then go to the end of that, right? This dude is on a roll. It's like the 6th, 7th video. He said the exact same thing on. But the account don't follow me. And it's a fake account. It's interesting how that shit works. All right. So emotions are divine servants, but terrible masters. They are sacred messengers, but they are not kings. Right? We follow our emotions, right? We follow our emotions, thinking our emotions are going to lead us correctly. But even scripture says what? The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? Who can know it? The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? All right. So a man, and we know this because we talk about this all the time. We talk about these types of things all the time. A man ruled by emotion is a man led by temporary illusions. But a man who listens to his emotions without becoming them, he becomes the master of his reality. The master of his reality right there. Right. So this is a key message, a really key thing to look in. Okay. So a man who listens to his emotions without becoming them. What are your emotions trying to tell you? What are they trying to tell you? What would I have to believe to be true to feel like this right now? That's where the work begins. That is where the work begins, right? I wanted to say something, but I'm not. All right, emotions are feedback, not final truth. All right, listening without losing yourself. So identity, emotion, and divine awareness. Okay? So the sky, not the storm. You are not your emotions. You are the sky that passed through. Your sadness is not your soul. Your fear is not your fate. Your anger is not your identity. Emotions are the weather of the inner world. Okay? They're the weather of the inner world. The same way that this unchanging earth, right? Same way that this sky, this unchanging, ever-present sky produces different weather. Your internal state produces different emotions. The emotions are the weather, right? So your anger is not your identity. Emotions are the weather of the inner world. Changeable, powerful, and meaningful, but never permanent. They arise as the body's honest response to the mind's beliefs. So they're followers. Your emotion is a follower. It is an effect. Because you've been thinking in this direction for so long, all of a sudden now what? You have emotions that pop up. All of a sudden, because I've been thinking this way, believing this way, expecting this way, my emotions show up as my internal guidance system. It's my body saying, hey, don't think. We got this for you. This is all it is, right? It's your body, it's your ego trying to make things predictable, trying to give you an easier path. It's not trying to hurt you. It's not trying to pull you away from things, right? It's not something that you have to go to war with your own emotions. You simply have to not allow yourself to tell a story just because you have a feeling. Let your ego, let your body do what it does. Let it feel whatever. Detach from the need to control your emotions and simply be the observer. Yes, I feel sad right now. Fine. That's cool. But I still know at my core everything is working out perfectly and beautifully for me. All right? So they arise as the body's honest response to the mind's beliefs. Proverbs 23:7. Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I constantly say this one, right? It says, as a man thinketh in his heart, not as he feeleth. Not as he feeleth in his heart. Because we were already told the heart is deceitful above all things, who can know it. Okay? So this scripture does not say, as a man feeleth, but thinketh in his heart. A subtle merging of thoughts and belief. It is belief that fuels emotion. Now, does it mean because I change my belief right now all of a sudden my emotion will change instantly. No, that's not what it means. It may take time, but here's the thing, it doesn't matter. When we create the illusion of having to reprogram a subconscious in order to get what we want, we are the one who creates that space. The truth is the only thing that matters is right now. It's who you're being right now. Okay? The past doesn't matter. The future doesn't matter. Whatever you've done in the past, throw that shit away. Light a fire on it. Burn it. Give it up. Drop it. Whatever you've done in the past for the past 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 minutes, 5 years, it doesn't matter. All that matters, what creates your reality is who you're being right now. Who you're being right now changes the past and it changes the future. It changes all of it. Okay? Right now. Now, eventually, sure, the belief may follow, but that's not important. What is important is the story that you're telling right now, because that is the reality creation generator. It's a story. All right? So what you feel in any given moment is a mirror reflecting not the external situation. Okay, so what you feel is not reflecting the external situation, but your internal interpretation of it. That is why two people can live the same event and walk away with different hearts. Your feelings are not the problem. Let me highlight this part. Let me put this in bold and italics. And let me make it bigger. Let me make it 13 font so we can really see it right there, just plastered across your screen. Your feelings are not the problem. Never have been, never will be. Your feelings are fine. They don't need to be managed. They don't need to be worked on. They're good, just the way they are. Matter of fact, if you felt more, that'd be fine too. If you felt less, that'd be perfect as well. How your feelings are is perfectly fine. It's perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing to change there. Okay? It is your mistaken identification with them that causes the suffering, that keeps us stuck in a time loop. It's identifying with those feelings when they're just feedback. They're just little directives, right? They're just emotional guidance system, right? Precisely. Data. Example of the difference between identifying with feelings and just having them. Well, identifying with a feeling would be me sitting down here and being sad and all of a sudden saying, man, this shit just never goes my way. I just can't figure this shit out. What the hell is going on? I've been trying to manifest, nothing's working. Oh man, I'm sad. Let me force myself to be happy so I can stay in alignment. I can't stay sad too long because I won't get what I want. As if the creator is some cruel punisher, right? Not identifying with your emotions is, yes, I'm sad. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. But eventually I'm going to look within that sadness and I'm going to say, okay, what would I prefer? What do I have to believe to be true to feel sad about whatever situation? Okay. And as I dive into that now, all right, I get more clarity on what I want. And I can focus my mind on what I want, right? I still tell the story of what I want. Right? I can feel sad and still say everything is working out. I'm not identifying with the sadness, right? When the story matches the feelings, that's typically where our life tends to be hot and cold. You have good days, bad days. You have good areas, bad areas of your life. Sometimes the money comes and then it goes. Sometimes that person comes and then they leave, right? Hot and cold feelings or hot and cold story equals hot and cold life. Hot and cold story, hot and cold life. Right? Your feelings are not the problem at all. It is your mistaken identification with them that causes suffering. Being kind to yourself and speaking nothing but positivity over your life really works. Absolutely. The same way that we want people to be kind to us, all right? The same way that if your daughter or your son, right, ran up to you crying, you would say, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Grant yourself that same grace. Like, be kind to yourself like that. Be nice to yourself. You deserve it. The same way that you would tell that child, it's okay. I've got you. Tell me about it. Tell me how you feel. Let's talk through this. What is this trying to show you? The same way that you would ask that child that, speak to yourself like that as well. Get to the bottom of it. Why do I feel like this? What do I believe to be true? How do I really feel right now? It's okay. Don't run from your feelings. They're trying to tell you something, right? Like your feelings are direct messages from your soul. Just giving you a little bit of insight on how you are, okay? Just giving you a little bit of insight on how you are, who you are and how you are, okay? So you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop, okay? Crow by Rumi. You are the field in which the emotions move, not the movement itself. You are the infinite witness, the formless I am that remains when all sensations pass, right? No matter what you're feeling, this too shall pass. Happy or sad, up or down, this too shall pass. Every situation that you're in, this too shall pass, okay? So emotions are indicators and not instructions. All right, when your body trembles with fear or burns with frustration, it is not betraying you, it is guiding you. Emotions are signals, internal compass needles pointing towards the beliefs you hold about yourself, about others, about life, and about God. They are like fire alarms, right? Loud, disruptive, and useful unless you mistake the alarm for the fire. It was another bar. That was another bar right there. Let me say that again, okay? We already had the cold-ass car analogy. Your feelings are like the lights on the dashboard, but you're the driver of the car, right? Just because you got auto lane detection, you know, the car might not sense a lane and might start freaking out. A light might ding at you. Is that going to give you an excuse to drive off the road? No, you're going to still go down the right path. I would hope. I would hope you don't listen to every ding in your car. The same way that you shouldn't just allow every emotion that you feel to dictate your story, to dictate your self-worth. I feel like that was it right there. I feel like that was a great analogy. All right, let's do another one. Let's talk about this one, okay? The fire alarm. I'm 2 for 2 right now. We on the twofer, okay? Emotions are signals, internal compass needles pointing toward the beliefs you hold about yourself, about others, and God. They are like fire alarms, all right? It's a banger. They are like fire alarms, loud, disruptive, and useful unless you mistake the alarm for the fire. They're not the fire. The emotions are not the fire. They're just the alarm. They're just telling you to pay attention. Is this a test? Is this the real deal? What's going on right now? What is going on right now? And now you have to make the decision on which way to go when you hear the fire alarm. There are certain fire alarms you can still just sit your ass down. And okay, it's a test. I'm straight. There are other times where you're like, oh shit, let me go outside and get more information about this shit. Let me see what's going on. This is the same way that you need to pay attention to your emotions. Your emotions are like little alarms that go off within you. It's the light that goes on within the car, just telling you to check. Just check. See if anything's wrong. See if something needs to be taken care of. Okay? Maybe you just need a little bit more gas. Right? But don't allow that, right? Don't allow that light or that alarm to pull you off the path that you are already going down. All right? So, A Course in Miracles quote, pain is always a sign. Pain is always a sign that we are holding on to a thought that God would not have us think. I know. Pain is always a sign that we are holding on to a thought that God would not have us think. I know. You might need a hug after that one. Another bar. So good. I know. 3 for 3. A 3-fer. Okay? But think about that, right? we talked about how God does not identify as with sin, right? Sin is a human construct. If you think of the nature of source or infinite intelligence, infinite consciousness, this is an omnipotent being. So if this being is omnipotent and infinite, that means that it must see all, right? It must see every single possible combination, every single unfolding of reality, all exists to that being, right? And so this is a beautiful thing, because since we can only see life one moment at a time, in our linear perspective, we have to go through linear time. We can only see things one moment at a time. We can't see the complete picture, right? So it would be like going to a movie or putting up a picture on your phone and zooming so far in that you could only see one pixel at a time. You would struggle, right? You would always perceive it incorrectly. We might look at this pixel and be like, oh no, this was bad. But we only see one pixel out of the full image. You couldn't possibly perceive what the entire image looks like if you were just looking at it one pixel at a time. This is why scripture says, do not judge by appearance, but judge righteously. You can only move one moment, one pixel at a time, right? And it's our ego that wants to judge and be like, oh no, we see it all. It's not working out. How do you know? You don't know shit. None of us do. We're just here, one pixel at a time, acting like we are holier than thou, judging others, telling other people how they can reach salvation as if the God spoke to you about them, speaking to everybody else about these things, right? But we can only see one pixel at a time, just judging situations. That's negative, right? This is why you feel so bad when you start looking out there and trying to perceive things as negative. Because God is looking at the wholeness and the perfection of everything all the time. Every single possible combination, the wholeness of everything. Right? If you could see every single person in the infinite forms of them, how could you see any imperfection? You see every single version of them unfolding perfectly. Every single version of them unfolding perfectly. In every moment, they are right where they need to be to change their life and make it infinitely better in every moment. Right? So this is why we say, like, source does not identify with negativity or sin. The God within you doesn't identify with that. That's why it's nothing to be forgiven for, because that would imply that source sees negativity. That source sees incompletion. Right? Because if you look at the whole, there can be no incompletion, right? We look at situations and we're like, oh, it's not working out, because we're judging the incompletion as the whole. But the God within you can't perceive that. So you feel negative. You feel bad when you try to feel like that. You feel like you're going away from your source. Okay. And then what's my thoughts on why we aren't meant to see the unfolding? To experience yourself. So you do see the unfolding, but you see it moment by moment. We can't see the whole thing because it's too much for the human mind. Right? It's, if you forced all of the vastness of source would not fit in this vessel. It doesn't contain the information capacity. This is why when we tried to be fit in one vessel, we exploded into all of us. We became all of us. Right? Even if you read the scripture, I don't care what you believe in, you know that it says the first man and woman. If you believe that's the story of history, if you believe somebody documented the first man and first woman, that's what it was. Sure, but even when they left the garden, right, there were people. You can clearly read that if you go to scripture. There were already people, right? So, one of the ways we can think of creation is things exploded. Not saying that humanity started here, but not saying that by any means that humanity started here on Earth, but or that the first humans were made from some explosion here on Earth and not changed. Anyway, that's a longer story. The point being that the information of source of infinite intelligence seeing every single possible outcome, it's not practical. It's not possible for our human mind. Even if you think of, if you combined all of humanity together, right? You combine all of our minds together, and all of us are in our own way trying to understand source a little bit. This person's trying to understand it from a physics perspective. This person from a geology. This person is trying to study physics. This person's trying to study religion, or this person's looking at crystals and doing spells in their bathroom on an altar, right? Whatever you are doing, you're trying to understand that God within you. And if you put all of our perspectives together, it's like a drop. It's nothing compared to the vastness of source, which is such a beautiful thing. So we can't see the all because this human perspective is not designed to see the all. That's all. We're just not designed to see it. Okay? So pain is always a sign that we are holding on to a thought that God would not have us think. All right. The next time you feel anxious, ask, what must I be believing to feel this way? Not what happened to me, but what am I making this mean? Not what happened to me, but what am I making this mean? This is how we move from victim to vessel, from reactive to responsive, from chaos to clarity. Okay. Another quote from Rumi. Okay. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in motion. Pete, I don't know who that is. Pete Sapper. I'll look him, or I'm assuming it's him. I'll look him up. What was he talking about? So section 2, beliefs create emotional reality. Okay, beliefs create emotional reality. I was thinking about not drinking this. I thought y'all were gonna judge me for White Claw, but I don't really care anymore. All right, every emotion is preceded by a perception. Okay. And every perception is shaped by a belief. So every emotion is preceded by a perception. Emotion preceded by perception. Every perception is shaped by a belief. You do not feel what is happening. You feel what you think is happening. They're so good. They're so delicious. You fuck with them, bro. I'll check them out. Pete Sapper. I always go back through the comments after these to see what I missed and things. So I'll check it out. Appreciate it. A child who believes in love feels safe in silence. A child who believes love must be earned feels abandoned in that same silence. Okay. This is important again. Let me sit up for a little bit. Thought I was gonna chill through that, but we're gonna hit this. All right. Pay attention to this. Every emotion is preceded by a perception, and every perception is shaped by what? A belief. Okay, so belief shaping perception, and perception precedes the emotion. You do not feel what is happening. You feel what you think is happening. All right. Now, this is a very important little comparison because we are the children running around on this earth, pretending to be adults, right? You went to school, you got a degree. Now you pretend to be sophisticated. You talk a certain way when you go to the office. I see you doing your thing, right? A child who believes in love feels safe in silence. Okay? If you believe in love, if you believe that you are loved, you can feel safe in silence. A child who believes love must be earned feels abandoned in that same silence. Now, if you are in a place where you're trying to get something, you're waiting for something to unfold for you, right? And you don't feel like anything is happening. What do you want to do? What does your body start telling you to do? Does it tell you to affirm more, visualize more? Or can you actually be comfortable in the stillness, knowing that this is just a part of the perfect unfolding? Who are you? Which one are you? Can you feel that love of source, or do you take that worldly programming and bring it into the spiritual process, thinking that you have to earn the love and the affection and the attention of the divine? That's exactly. And my father, or one of my fathers greater than I. Okay. Romans 12:2. Another one of my favorite verses. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right? Do not conform. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your world does not change until your mind does. Your emotions, okay? Your emotions do not lie. They do not lie, but they speak the language of your subconscious. They tell the truth about your beliefs, not about reality. Now, probably say, oh, Alex, you say that all the time that emotions lie. Yes. Emotions lie about reality. They don't lie about your belief. Your emotion is pushing you to your belief. To your belief. It's giving you a way to either change that belief or accept that belief. But reality is reality. Reality is what you say it is despite your emotions. Okay? Reality is your story that you are telling moment by moment. It's unfolding from within you. Okay? So your emotions do not lie, but they speak the language of your subconscious. They tell the truth about your beliefs, not about reality. Okay? Albert Einstein. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Right? Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Let us go deeper than appearances. Let us reprogram our perception at the level of identity. All right, so the witness within. There is a part of you that sees the sadness without becoming it, that observes the rage without reacting from it, that sits in the middle of grief and knows that nothing essential has been lost. Powerful. It's a powerful version of you. That's the version of you that you are right now. Once you accept it, all right? This is the witness, the Christ mind, the eternal observer who lives in stillness. The wind blows where it wishes. Okay, John 3:8. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. You are not your programming. You are the one who sees it. You are not your trauma. You are the soul who survived it. Mystics called this the seat of the soul, the Atman in Hindu philosophy, the unchanging awareness beyond the ego. And a quote by Rainer Maria Rilke, let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Say that one more time. I'll say that one more time. Thanks for asking. I'll say it one more time, okay? Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Let whatever be whatever. Let whoever say whatever. Let whoever do whatever. Just keep going. Everything is temporary. This too shall pass. All right? So section 4, use your emotions but do not worship them. Emotions are divine servants but terrible masters. They are sacred messengers, but they are not kings. Sacred messengers, but emotions are not kings. And we know this from, just looking at regular life, right? We don't even want the extremely emotional people to lead us. All right? You want someone to lead you with a little bit of stoicism. If you went to work and your boss every day and they got just a little bit of stress, they were just, oh God, just telling all kinds of sob stories. Whenever they get upset, everybody's finna have a bad day now. We all know people like that. If their emotion, if they're feeling some kind of way, everybody will know it. Now it's their goal for everybody to know how they're feeling. Right? Emotions, they make terrible leaders. Emotions make terrible leaders. Right? Do not allow your emotions to lead your thoughts all over the place all day. All right? Emotions are divine servants, but terrible masters. They are sacred messengers, but they are not kings. A man ruled by emotion, a person, not man, a person ruled by emotion is a person led by temporary illusions. But anyone who listens to their emotions without becoming them, they become the master of their reality. All right? Revelation 2:28. To him who overcomes, I will give the morning star. All All right, so to overcome does not mean suppress. It means to integrate, to rise above the storm while learning from its wind. To rise above the storm while learning from its wind. Your triggers are teachers. Your tears are trail makers. Your tears are trail makers, right? Even in the darkest situations, you get clarity on where you want to go next. Your rage is raw, holy fire. When transmuted, it becomes passion, conviction, and drive. Your rage is raw, holy fire. When transmuted, it becomes passion, conviction, drive. All emotions play a divine role in getting you to where you are or where you want to be. They all do. They all do. So instead of allowing those negative emotions to take you down a negative spiral or just imagine all the things you don't want, use those to give you clarity on what you want. Treat them like that fire alarm. It's trying to get you to pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to yourself when you have your emotions. Don't run from them. Don't try to suppress them. Use them. Okay? Use them. So here's another proverb, right? The transformed mind is not emotionless. The enlightened mind is not emotionless. It is emotionally wise. I love that quote. All right. And so hopefully, we're talking about emotions from different ways because I really want to put this in different perspectives, how you're not your emotions. On this journey, when you get too caught up in your emotions, you all of a sudden, you just stop living your life, trying to control your emotions and point them, all over the place and suppress this. And man, I want you to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. What is important is the story, is who you are being, not what you are feeling. What you're feeling is just there to bring you closer to yourself, to help you get to understand yourself further and more fully. All right. So ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to show me about what I believe? And then go further. And is that belief aligned with who I truly am? Right? Is this belief really aligned with who I truly am? All right, section 5. That was a Saratoga water, by the way. So you are not the storm. You are the stillness before it and after it. You are not joy. You are not despair. You are the awareness in which both arise and dissolve. You are the awareness in which both rise and dissolve, right? John 8:58, before Abraham, I am. Before Abraham, I am. You are not becoming, you are. The I am presence is not moved by feelings. It witnesses them. And from this higher seat of being, you can feel deeply without being ruled. I can feel deeply without being ruled by those feelings. Okay. I can love fully without losing myself. Okay. And I can rise continuously. I can rise continuously when I stop identifying with my emotions, because nothing temporary can shake what is eternal. That's a very beautiful way of putting it. Is that bar number 4? I'm gonna give that 3.5. All right. You are not becoming, you are. The I am presence is not moved by feelings, it witnesses them. And from this higher seat of being, you can feel deeply without being ruled, without being controlled. Right? Without losing yourself, without running around and having this person drag you around. But I can love fully and still keep myself. Right? And then also I can lose. I can be fully engaged with that losing. I can be fully engaged with the heartbreak, with the betrayal, with whatever happens in my life. And I can not identify with it. I still am. That situation just passed. Right? Every moment of every situation will fade away, but I can still be present in every single aspect of my life, be fully engaged with my feelings. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying, throwing myself out there, not caring if I'm getting hurt. Mind you, right? This is what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the same way that in the past, The same way in the past, you met somebody, you were like, oh, this might be it. This is the one. And then it didn't work out. I'm not saying to throw yourself in no matter what, now with no discernment. I'm saying live the way that you used to, fully engage with life. And this stems back to that conversation I was having earlier with a client, right? And the realization that she had, right, as we were talking was, man, it just clicked to me when I just started living life normally, like I used to live my life. Like before I heard about all of this, I was just living life. The only difference, I just changed my expectation. Now I know that I'm source. Now I know everything is working out perfectly for me. That's it. Only change. Everything else is the same. And that's a beautiful way to put it. We get down this path and we could be, tricked into changing. We could be tricked into thinking that we have to strive to be worthy, strive to be loved, when really it's about doing less than you ever have. You don't have to try to be worthy. You are worthy. You are the wholeness of source. Trying to get another water. You are the wholeness of source. Absolutely, right now. 100%. The wholeness of source right now. Okay? So, another quote from Rumi: the soul has been given its own ears to hear things the mind does not understand. The soul has been given its own ears to hear things the mind does not understand. That ear is your divine awareness. And when you hear from it, emotions stop being noise and become music. Not truth, but direction. Not identity. I don't identify, but it's an invitation. It's an invitation to go deeper within myself. It's an invitation, right? My emotions simply invite me into the depths of my being. Invite me into to more communion with myself, to more intimacy with myself. There is such beauty with, there's such beauty. Let's see, I'm trying that I am the source. How do I truly grasp that though? So I'd put it like this, my brother. What clicked for me personally and why I speak the way I do about this is the knowing that I am source came after a while, right? But the only thing that changed, right, is because I was grasping for this feeling. One day I will just know and walk around in the feeling that I am the source, right? But even scripture says, right, if you don't believe it to be true, he says, I am the truth. Like whatever I declare I am is the truth. My I am awareness is the truth. When we get too caught up with the feeling of these things, right, grasping the feeling, I need to feel it. It needs to embody within me, right? This is when we can walk around and we can think, oh, today I felt good. Today I think it clicked. But tomorrow you might wake up and say, you know what? I don't really feel like I'm source today. I don't really feel like I'm actually the creator. I don't feel like I'm the divine today. Does it make you less of the divine because you do not feel that way? No. You're still source. You're still all that there is. You are still God. But when we make it conditional, when we say, okay, because I don't feel this way, or because I think I still have to work and strive, that's what we're doing. We're creating a conditional reality. So how I would answer that is I wouldn't so much try to grasp it, besides just know it and decree it and understand, even if it's just an intellectual understanding. As I walk through life and I bring myself back to that awareness, right, then allow source to prove to you that you are source. Allow yourself to prove to you that you are source, right? Do it with the absolute expectation that you are a source and allow things to unfold that way. But grasping as a feeling, what is faith and belief? Right? Faith and belief is just my ability to revisit a thought. It's a statement. Okay? Who can measure one's faith? Who can measure belief? Can I put my faith side by side to anyone? No, it's an internal thing. I can define it, you can define it. But if we really start to break it down and think about it, beyond feelings, it is simply my ability to go back to the same story over and over again. When I'm standing in the same knowing over and over again, that is my truth. That is my belief. That is my faith. Right? Exactly. Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be added unto thee. Right? It's simply when you say the word, that is what it is. Your heart is deceitful above all who can know it. Your feelings will be deceitful. Your feelings will pull you all over the place. But it is your constant desire or ability to say the same story, that is really the grasping of it. Right? Most definitely. Hopefully that helped. Okay? So in closing, y'all, closing reflection, feel everything, but believe only what aligns with the truth of who you are. Okay? You are allowed to feel everything, but you are not obligated to believe everything that you feel. You are allowed to cry, to rage, to break open, but the self that watches you do so remains whole. This is not, and I'm saying this not as a, you're going to have these two versions of you within you, right? Where one of you is fully engaged and the other one is simply, you might flip back and forth, but this is just a knowing. This is something that your awareness, as you become more aware as you're walking through life, your awareness can constantly project into your mind. All right, I am allowed to cry. I'm allowed to break open. I'm allowed to hurt. But the self, the I am awareness, the witness within me that watches me do that remains whole. And that witness within me is always working to give me what I declare to be true. It's not always working to give me what I feel. So what I'm saying is when we're saying these things, this is what it means. That I am, your I amness is untouched by feelings and emotions. It's beyond that thing. It's beyond it. It is your ego that is attached to feelings and emotions. Your I am awareness, what does it respond to? Decrees. It responds to decrees, to statements. That is the only thing it's touched by. It shifts based on your perspective. So even when we think about like feeling is the secret, why do we feeling it's your ego that gives you more conviction, that makes you say you want something a little bit more or more often, and all of a sudden it shows up for you and we say feeling. Feeling is not the secret. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. You were never told thou shalt feel a thing and it shall be. You were never told that. He who begs and pleads and cries the loudest will be granted their desires. I never heard that shit. Never heard it. Feeling is not the secret. What the feeling is, it is the assumption or the knowing that everything that you are being is already unfolding for you. Right? What is the difference? What is the difference? Well, one of them walks through life knowing everything is unfolding, and the other one looks out at reality and is trying to get proof that everything is working. If I know, then I'm knowing. I'm walking through life knowing. I am the proof. I am the synchronicity. I'm focusing on me. I'm focusing on myself. Now, when I'm walking through life and I'm focusing on everything else, I'm just hoping. Right? Let's talk about presence for a second, right? Because we've been talking about presence a lot lately. I want to talk about the importance of awareness and being in your body. Okay. Right now, if you're not driving or anything, drop your awareness into your body, right? Get out of your head. Get out of your thinking head for a second and drop into your body. Study how your body feels. Feel the energy in your cells. You can feel your aura around you, whatever you can feel. Just simply feel your body. And understand that feeling that you feel when you can feel your body, you can feel your arms, you can feel your stomach, your chest, where you can feel the energy flowing, that is source energy flowing through you right now. And that source energy is flowing through you, it's flowing through everything, it's connected, it's flowing through you to everything, impacting everything. Let's talk about practical applications of being present, of being in your body, all right? if you are with a person, what does being in your body allow you to do? It allows you to be more present in the conversation with them, right? To really feel what they're saying, to really hear them closely, to look them in their eyes, to be present. What does it do when you're making love to someone? It allows you to please them more. It allows you to enjoy the pleasure you're receiving more. It allows you to be a better lover. What about with your parents? It makes them feel seen. What about at your job? It makes them feel good to be working with you. What about your kids? It gives them fulfillment. Everyone is looking for your presence in the same way that when you are sitting down with somebody and you can tell when they are present with you, you can just tell, like, it's on. You can feel the electricity. You can feel the energy flowing. This is the same way that the source within you knows when you are present with it. When you are present with your energy, or you are just up in the clouds, always out there. Always in the external world. Remember, the purpose of consciousness is to be conscious of something. And since everything comes from within you, what's most important for you to be conscious of is yourself. So even in times where you feel a little bit of doubt, right? You feel some unease. These are perfect times to take a deep breath, let your breath connect you with the present moment, and then get within your body. Get in your body. Feel your body. Feel how your body's feeling. Feel the tension. Try to release it. Understand that tension is just energy. Feel the miracle of that. Feel that rage that's in you, right? Earlier today, I was in the market and I lost a trade today. Well, I won one, lost one, put it like that. But why I make sure that I am very strict in my trading is because I do not want to rely on an emotional version of me to make a decision that involves money. I don't want that version of me doing that. I just don't like it, right? So I had got the first leg of the market going down. The market was consolidating, and I thought that there was going to be another rundown. I was wrong. And there was a part of me that wanted to take my stop loss off and was like, no, there's no way the market can go up. But I know when I start thinking about that is pure ego. It's pure greed talking. It's my pure desire to take some money out the market and go on a trip, right? And so I immediately caught myself and I went within my body, okay, do not touch that stop loss. How do you feel right now? Well, you feel worked up. What is the story that you were about to tell? It's about to tell the story that the market is about to fuck me over. There's no way that the market should be going up. And I have to remind myself the truth. You don't control that shit. That is its own entity. Your job is not to focus on this trade, but to focus on being alive for the next one, then the next one, then the next one. So I was like, okay, cool. Cut my loss, got out of there. I would have lost a lot more had I paid attention to my emotions. So your emotions are always guiding you. They're always speaking to you in all kinds of situations, every situation, okay? You go to a bar and you try to talk to somebody and they reject you. And that emotion of shame, you might feel embarrassed. You might feel angry. I don't know how you feel. You might feel whatever you feel. What is that emotion trying to tell you? Is that emotion trying to tell you that you believe that there's a lack of abundance? Right? That you believe that she is better than you, that he was better than you? That if you received them, you would feel some kind of satisfaction or fulfillment? Right? Maybe it was pure lust. Who cares? But what is your emotion trying to tell you? We're not judging things as right or wrong. It's just, how do you create that intimacy or that connection with your emotions? Are you able to read your emotions well? There are certain people who, when they describe their emotions, it's like an 8-pack of crayons. 8 emotions: happy, sad, mad, hungry, horny, sleepy, whatever the case may be, right? And there's other people that have a 128-pack. Very, very good. Very, very good at articulating, going within themselves, figuring out what it means, and not identifying with it, right? And then, I thought I had to sneeze for a second. All right, so what helped me? All right, what helped me become an emotionless trader? I'm not an emotionless trader. Even I'll catch myself when the market is up in my favor, or it's down in my favor. I'm up on the trade, and I'm still simply trailing my stop, and I'm trailing my position past my take profit, and I'm still feeling a certain way. So with me, it never became about controlling my emotions. It was simply about not putting myself in situations where I have to rely on my emotions, or I have to rely on me overcoming my emotions, right? When I used to trade without a stop before I started making money, because I just thought like I was smarter. I just had a little bit of arrogance. But when that market, you've done your analysis, so you have a feeling. You wouldn't have gotten in that trade if you didn't believe it was going to go somewhere, up or down, right? So you get in that trade, and it goes against you or it consolidates. And let's say you're in options, and the money or the option is expiring. It's losing value. You can wait, because it could pump out of there and still pay you. But the longer it's in consolidation, you can be losing money, right? So what would my emotions tell me? You can still make a whole lot of money, or you could lose a little bit, or you could hold on too long. Like your emotion is always gonna it wants money. At least I do. I know that I'm very money motivated. Not in a, well, I know exactly what I want to make, what I prefer to make in a month. Every month, I know what I prefer to make. Every trade, I know what I prefer to make, right? So do I want the emotional me who is hungry for money, who is competitive, who wants to win these trades, who believes he's smarter than the market? Do I want that version of me controlling if I push that stop? So oftentimes I have to put my phone down and just watch the market, because because I know if I hit that button and I turn off that stop, hey, we could be in for a difficult time. We could be in for a difficult time. So, long story short, it was never about being emotionless. It was simply about not putting myself in a position where I had to focus on my emotions. Right? When I had to focus on my emotions, hey, ain't no telling what's gonna happen at the end of the day, right? So, and not Muslim. I follow the Alexander Dwayne religion. You know what I'm saying? But all right, y'all. Let's finish this up. You are allowed to feel everything, but you are not obligated to believe everything that you feel. You are allowed to cry, rage, break open, but the self that watches you do so remains whole. The more you return to that self, the less power emotions have to distort your perception, and the more power they have to deepen your presence, right? Presence is a beautiful attribute. The people that you believe you have the closest connection to, these are the people who you feel like they're present with you. Man, you know what I'm reading. You know what I'm reading, man. I'm reading off this YouTube document. All right. That's another thing. Let's talk about that, right? Presence for a second. What you'll find is the more present you become in life, the more life wants to give to you. And this is in every aspect, right? In every area. Gentlemen, when you are extremely present with a woman, she's yours. Right? Women, when you are extremely present with a man, he's yours. Right? Presence is so powerful because as human beings, we want to be seen. We want to feel seen. We want to feel love. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel like somebody cares. This is what we want to feel, right? We want that divine person to put that mirror up to us and say, I still see the God within you. I still see that you are source. Right? I still see that you are absolutely divine. This is what we want. And to do that to someone, you have to be present. Now, also, if we talk about the nature of relationships in general, this is going to be important because the nature of relationships also mirrors the nature of the relationship with yourself. So, for instance, the day that you meet that person, 5 years later, you're not going to be the same person. Y'all are constantly going to be growing. You're on the journey together. Y'all are on the journey as individuals. So you're constantly changing and evolving and meeting new versions of one another, right? This is the same way that as you're going through your life, right? The same way that you need to be present for your partner is the same way that you need to be present for yourself. As you grow and change through life, you have to continuously meet yourself. You have to continuously be present through the environments, watching them change, determining how you're going to react or respond, and then continuing to move forward. This is the power of presence. Right? And then we had a very, very good discussion on masculine and feminine energy, where we were talking about the polarities. And one of the tenets of masculinity is presence, it's awareness. When you think of Adam as that consciousness, as the embodiment, well, not even the embodiment, as the archetype for consciousness, the archetype for awareness. His job was to name the animals. And to name the animals, you have to be aware, right? Because what this metaphorically represents is how you have to name the circumstances of your life. All right? So let's finish this up. All right. So emotions are here to reveal and not define, to teach and not to trap, to call you home, not to drag you down. So see fully, feel fully, and then rise, not from reaction, but from revelation. From revelation. All right. So we got a couple affirmations. Sit back and enjoy these. Let's get into it. All right. That's our job, man. That's why we're here. So these are going to be more short and sweet, to the point, right? Yesterday, I turned into I don't know who I turned to on the affirmations, but these ones are going to be short and sweet, right? Number 1, I am not my feelings. I am the awareness holding them. Okay? We still got questions. All right, remember, keep some of these affirmations in your back pocket. Whatever you see, whatever you're going through, right? It's always good to have your arsenal, to have your weapons. So whatever I see, I can go back to that same story. Whatever I'm feeling, I can go back to the same story, right? This is the purpose of these affirmations. Sure, you can say them in the mirror. That's cool. But what you need to be doing is living the affirmation, understanding that every single thought, every single word you speak is an affirmation. The way you live your life is an affirmation, right? The way you work out is an affirmation about how much you care about your body, right? If you don't want to take your shirt off in the summer, you might have to ask yourself some questions. The way you eat, right? All these things, the way that you see the world is an affirmation. They're always affirmations. You are always affirming who you are. Okay? So, I am not my feelings. I am the awareness holding them. Cool. Emotions pass through me, but they do not define me. Emotions pass through me, but they do not define me. I am not my emotions. I am the awareness behind them. Okay? I honor my feelings, but I do not bow to them. Okay? I honor my feelings, but I do not bow to them. I feel deeply, yet I remain anchored in something greater. My truth is greater than anything I see or feel. My truth is greater than anything that I see or feel. Right? As you walk through life, you're going to encounter things. Life does not leave anybody untouched, unscarred. There are going to be things that make you feel a certain way. But who are you going to be through all of those, right? Who are you going to be through all of those? My essence is unshaken by emotional weather. My essence is unshaken by emotional weather. I am that I am no matter what. I am prosperity, I am love, I am perfection, I am divinity, I am absolute wholeness. I am beauty, I am intelligence, no matter what. No matter what. Okay? I observe my emotions with compassion, not identification. I observe my emotions with compassion, not identification. Right? Amen, amen. That passionate word is typically, a container for a different word within it. Right? I observe my emotions with compassion, not identification. The storm within me is not who I am. It is simply passing through. The storm within me is not who I am. It is simply passing through, right? You are not the emotions. You are the sky. You are not the weather, right? The emotions are the weather of your inner being, right? They're the engine lights in your car, but you are the driver. Just because the engine light comes on does not mean that you need to, well, okay. you do need to look within it, right? The engine light is, well, what is it trying to do? It's trying to tell you to look within, see what's going on, figure it out. All right? What do I have to believe to be true to feel this way? It is the fire alarm, right? Do not mistake the fire alarm for the fire. Do not mistake the feeling for the truth. Okay? The feeling is true. Your emotions are true, but they are about your past beliefs. Your past beliefs, but they are not the truth about reality. They're not the truth about reality. All right? You are reality. The story that you tell is reality. Okay? I am the eternal sky. My emotions are just clouds that come and go. I am the eternal sky. My emotions are just clouds that come and go. Right? Allow your emotions to flow. Feel them. Learn from them. Embrace them. When you feel happy, feel happy. When you feel sadness, feel sadness. Enjoy your life. Be the same way that you were before you got on this manifesting journey, right? Just going through life. The only difference is now you know everything is unfolding for you. Now you know that you are all that there is. Now you know that there is no separation at all. All right? I think this one's last. Yep. Last but certainly not least. Last but certainly not least. My divine nature transcends every passing emotion. Right? My divine nature transcends every passing emotion. Who you are is beyond any emotion that you can feel. Who you are is beyond your emotions. It's beyond what you see. Right? You are the infinite awareness. You are the formless I am behind it all. Okay? Behind it all. So, hope y'all gained something from this one. I really wanted to focus in on emotions. Right? Of course, this video will be on YouTube. The document will be on YouTube. You can always check it out. A reminder, right? Tomorrow we are doing the workshop, manifesting workshop, right? Staying in the end is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. All right. If you are a paying subscriber on TikTok, for free, just DM me. I'll give you the info, the Zoom link, and then for anyone else, it's $25. Right. Probably will start doing these, once every month, once every 2 months. But if you go to tomorrow's workshop, what's actually going to happen, we're going to do a guided meditation. We're going to create an alter ego. We're going to do some different teachings in it. You're going to get a workbook with a bunch of prompts, some embodiment prompts just to remember who you are. And what it's meant for is that by the time you leave that, you do not go back to the identity that you were when you walked in, right? So 3-hour workshop is $25. Calendly link is in the bio, but it's tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central to 2 if you want to do that. So other than that, man, let's do some questions. If y'all have questions, let's get into it. It is under, yeah, where's that? It's under, there's a link tree. There is a link tree in all of my social media. My bad, I'm getting tired. There is a link tree in all of my social media bios. In that link tree, there's a Calendly. Okay, and the Calendly, one of the first thing on there is workshop. First, the second thing, it just says workshop manifesting from the end. And it's on there. You can check it out. But yes. And then this is going to be under my, on my YouTube. Right. The best way to gain control over your emotions. I don't believe that. I mean, is that really possible to gain control over your emotions, right? I think that what we should be striving for, what would be a healthier goal, and of course this is just my perception, would be controlling your reactions to your emotions, right? Your emotions are going to be what they are. You can have a bad day. Somebody can piss you off out the blue. You can get bad news and you're going to feel however. But how do you react to those emotions? We see people all the time throw away things that they claim to cherish or claim to value, all because of how they reacted to the emotion. Was the emotion negative? No, the emotion is just trying to tell you something. It is your internal guidance system, right? It's not something for you to suppress and get to a point where you can ignore it. But what you want to do is you want to actually be able to understand, what is this emotion trying to tell me? All right, now I feel this way. What still is the right thing for me to do right now? All right. Your reaction to your emotion is always going to be most important, right? Let's think about this in the nature of just a conversation that you have. Let's say that you're with somebody right now and they have something that they have to get off their chest. You've done something. You've done something that has bothered them. And wasn't your intention at all. You thought it was innocent. But they bring it up and they are upset. Now they're not going off on you, they're upset. Now you feel like, what are you tripping about? Why are you tripping about this? I didn't mean to do that. Now, you could have a very strong emotion in alignment with that belief. The fuck is wrong with this person? Why are you tripping about this? Is it the best thing for you to do to react to your emotion or react purely based on that emotion in that feeling or in that time? No, absolutely not. It is not going to be the best time for you to react. Right? So how should you? Well, that depends on the situation. It depends on what's going on. It depends on all these different factors. Okay, all these different factors. But we have to be mindful, awareness, conscious enough to walk in that situation, perceive it the right way, and then make the right choice, right? Remember, consciousness is not purely intelligence. There's a lot of people that are walking around with a whole bunch of intelligence, doesn't mean that they're conscious. Doesn't mean that they're conscious. When we're talking about conscious, we're talking about being present, being in the moment, being aware as things happen, right? No matter what I feel, no matter what I see, I am the observer. I'm the boss, right? I am the driver of this body. So what I say goes. What I say goes. So instead of just, I feel this powerful emotion and I'll react off it, I can think about it. I can say, okay, how should I move right now? I can take things into consideration. It's the right time to bring it up, yada, yada. How do I want to communicate this? I can think about that, right? This is what a wise person does, right? So, long story short, no, I don't think emotional control is the key. I think it is a mastering of self. It's a mastering of self. And the more that I master self, the less I want to control my emotions. My emotions are important. They're telling me things. They're showing me about myself. I want to embrace them. I want to feel them, right? I want to feel that absolute bliss in good times. The same way that I want that feeling of clarity to actually, motivate me when I'm feeling down. Okay? Do not call, text. Facts. How do you stay present in your masculine without trying to control everything? I mean, I just don't, right? How is the part that's getting me right now, the how part? I simply try to remember. I simply remind myself who I am. There's nothing to control out there, right? There's absolutely nothing to control outside of me. The only thing to control is self. And when I focus on myself, I become present. I just control the story of everything that's going on outside of me. Then, I just allow everything to kind of unfold how it is, right? That's a beautiful way to put it, right? Divine surrender. Put it like that. Divine surrender. It is understanding that there's no separation between me and reality. I am reality. Who I am is what reality must be. And because of this knowing, when I walk through life, everything is perfect, right? The detachment is the knowing that everything is already perfect. In this moment, this is a very perfect moment, attached to a perfect version of me. Now, this version of me, I might not be embodying that version anymore because I've evolved and grown. But that version of me was still absolute perfection in the wholeness of me. And so this situation right now is absolute perfection in the wholeness of the infinite. And with that knowing, I simply walk through life admiring it all and allowing what I don't like to fade away. It's still perfect though, right? So, I would say that is my version of divine surrender. I think that might have been what you meant, but so delusion, is it delusional? It's creation. Delusional does get a bad name because delusion is typically tied to something that the world sees as abnormal. It just happens to be that delusional is seen as positivity these days. Typically, when people tell you to be realistic, like I always say, they're telling you to think of the worst case scenario. Oh, just be realistic. That means think of the worst case shit. Now, if I understand that my thoughts create reality, my expectations, my held on beliefs, just the knowing, okay? Just by the fact that we know that when people say be realistic, it means be negative, that means that the societal norm of thinking is negative. And so if I know that the societal norm is negative, but they call delusional positive, but I know that my expectation and my beliefs create reality, I'd prefer to be delusional. If that's what we want to call it, sure. But if your reality follows, then why not go down that road? Only one of two things is going to happen, right? Either everything is going to change because your expectations change, or you're just going to feel better because you're thinking better and now you're going to feel better. And that in itself would just be a win anyway, right? But I promise you more than that will happen. Let me see it. DeAndre had a good question. Where was it? Oh, okay. How can a person get over their fear of failure, which prevents them from attempting? Love this question. The fear of failure. Well, first I would ask you this question in response. I would say, do you believe that the fear of failure is something that you can ever fully get rid of? Right? Do you believe that you can get to a point where you do not fear failure at all anymore? I think that would be ambitious. Could you? Perhaps, maybe. But I also think that the person who gets there would also have to have either a lot of proof, or they might have to have just a lot of I just don't give a damn anymore, right? Because, not giving a damn, cool, that's an extreme, and that's definitely a point to get to. But I want to give it, because we talked about not giving a damn in a whole discussion. But I want to talk about this from a little bit more practical sense right now, okay? If we understand that our feelings are just the emotional guidance system, then what is fear trying to tell me? Fear is simply trying to tell me that I'm stepping out of a pattern that I have been in. Now, we know that growth happens when you change patterns. The moment I step into something new, this is when I open up reality. I allow my reality to start unfolding differently, more beautifully. So change is always going to be a good thing to strive for. And if change is always going to be uncomfortable, then I'm going to have to put myself in a lot of things that are uncomfortable. So I don't think that we should get to a point where we're trying to overcome the fear in terms of not feeling it, but we should be trying to dive into the fear and say, okay, is this a fear for my safety? Okay, that's one thing. But typically, if it's fear for another reason, it's the fear of growth. It is the fear of, or this current version of myself, fearing the growth, fearing not being relevant anymore, right? And fear is also just the opposite polarity. Fear, anxiety, the opposite polarity of excitement. It's the same energy. It's just a little bit ungrounded. As you walk through that door and the path begins to unfold, now you can see things more divinely, right? However, fear is always going to be there. Even when it's something small, like you can have fear from thinking about posting a video, posting some content. You can have fear, some people that stay in the crib all day, they can have fear of going out, fear of actually walking out and meeting somebody, the fear of approaching a woman, the fear of, if your funds are low, you might have a fear of swiping your card, because what if people, laugh at you, right? You can't escape that natural feeling, because this is how your ego tries to keep you safe. No, you're stepping out of your routine pattern. We're going to give you this feeling that is going to keep you safe. But we have to sit in that driver's seat and say, no, I want the growth. I prefer the growth more. So hopefully that helps. My tips on how to stay in the end when people keep bringing up something that you're moving past. No problem, my brother. No problem. How to stay in the end when people keep bringing up stuff that you're trying to move past. Hey, let whoever say whatever. You will never go through life without the external world showing you who you are, or who you have been, right? You're going to go through life and you decide, okay, I'm going to be prosperity. I'm going to be this from this point forward. The external world, for a little while, will still reflect the old version of you. Those people will still reflect the old version of you. Even if we're talking about, let's say that you're starting a business. Let's say you believe you're doing so positive. Do you believe that every single person that you walk up to and tell them your business idea is going to give you great, oh my God, good job? Go against everything in society. You can do this. No, some people are going to look at you and say, you're tripping. Why would you do that? Just go back to work, right? So there will always be people that say whatever. And so we can't make it about those people. We have to make it about us. If I'm holding on to this new version of me, and I know that, okay, I'm going to hold on to this new version of me no matter what. No matter what has to truly mean no matter what. It Has to mean no matter what. So when I'm going through life, no matter what people tell me, I'm going to have to say, no, I am that I am no matter what. No matter what the situation looks like, no matter what. Don't care if you have to affirm your way through it. Don't care if you just have to go along with the conversation. And then at the end, you know what I'm saying? You simply cannot identify with their truths within you. Let whoever say whatever. But you have the final say so. Right? Don't allow them to give you an excuse to tell the story of what you don't want. Don't allow your feelings to give you an excuse to tell the story that you don't want. Right? Simply go about your business. If people say whatever, let them say whatever. Right? You don't have to fight them. You don't have to affirm to their face. Right? Just let the conversation go. Drop it and remind yourself that I'm already there. Remind yourself that this is just testing you. Remind yourself that even if your feelings are going crazy, you can still tell the same story, that everything is working out. Even if you have to say, well, it's an old version of you that's sending you things. It's just sending you things in your reality so it can try to get you off track. So it can try to get you to go back to the old you, but you're not going back there. Yeah. Do I think that remember who you are is a return to revelation? Remembering who you are is a return to your divine right as the prophet in your life. You've always been the creator. You've always been the one that speaks law. But because of the way the world's programming works, a lot of us do walk around very double-minded, where we want things, but we doubt things. And we want them more, and then we doubt them more, right? And then we have a little bit of faith, and then we go back to not having it. It's just how the world programs us to think about the worst case things. So as you know yourself and you put your focus on yourself, you begin to use all the tools that were divinely endowed to you. You begin to use your emotion. You begin to use the external reality as feedback, because the external reality is just you. It's an extension of you. Now you can walk in your birthright as the prophet of this reality. So knowing yourself is a big thing in life. Right? What is the most meaningful lesson to learn here? Because of how dense this reality is and how slow it does take, or how slow our thoughts become reality in this third dimensional reality, they become instantly. But how long it takes for them to manifest, how could there be any more difficult lesson or more important lesson here than knowing myself and creating as the divine version of myself? Right? It feels like everything else is secondary to that major lesson. So I just want to be letting go of, wanting to let go, or wanting to get out of toxicity faster. Then get out. Oh, okay. All right. Your bro has a kid on the way and wants to go to reality where it no longer is. Okay. Okay. Oh, y'all are wild. Oh, man. Anything I say after that is going to be the wrong fucking answer. Hell no, I'm not answering that shit. I am not answering that shit. Yeah. He had a long time to change reality before then. Nah, I don't think he was serious. But but actually, I will say something about that because it is an interesting thing. I heard we've talked about the soul's journey a lot of times, right? And we've talked about how from before you incarnate here, you do have a say so in choosing the reality that you go to. And it is easy to get offended, when things like that happen, right? It's easy. But I want to say this because, I saw someone did get offended. I want to say this. Your soul, even if it comes into a situation where it will not be, I'm not going to say conceived, but actually birthed, your soul understands what it's doing, right? So there are certain souls that show up because they're doing something purely for the parents. Right? I told you the story about the woman who, was alone, had no friends, a very, very mean woman. And she had a child that was simply there to teach her love, right? The child came down here, and when the job was done, checked out very, very young, I think 3 or 4, right? Drowned. But it was an older soul, okay, in terms of life experiences, not in terms of age. So what we consider as right and wrong is always going to be up to us. It's always going to be up. It's a human thing to believe that we can understand the nature and the travels of a soul to where we can feel, good or bad for someone else and what they do to their body. Right? You could have your own opinions, but when we do take a step back and we look at the soul's journey, people make the best decisions for themselves based on what they know. Right? You never know the situations people are in, financially, or if they were abused. You don't know what led to that moment. And so whatever decision we do make, right, no matter what it is, in the eyes of the infinite, in the eyes of the eternal, you can't do anything wrong. You can't do anything wrong. Right? That's not a call to be irresponsible, right? But you can't do anything wrong on a soul level. What it do? Doing something wrong, that's the concept of doing something wrong doesn't even make sense, right? You can do things to create something that you don't prefer, but doing something wrong, if everything exists, there's no such thing. Right and wrong, good, bad. These are human things. We're the ones who step in and judge, right? We can have a moral discussion all day about all kinds of things. We can go back and forth. What about this? What about that? What about this situation? What about that? That's the same kind of conditioned thoughts that we bring into the manifesting thing. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What, right? Like we're trying to pass a damn bill with the 82nd Amendment on it, right? Like you're not passing a bill. It's a simple thing. You embody the state. You go to the end. You have it. Point blank, period. Everything already exists. You make a choice. You're going to get what you want or don't want, but you can't make the wrong choice. Nothing is, you can't mess up. Like, you can't do anything wrong. There's no right and wrong here. It's purely ego, purely a human perspective. All right. Ooh, what clicked? I want to hear that. Yeah, for sure, right? There's nothing that you can do to impact the purpose someone was put here to fulfill, right? That would imply that they don't have free will, right? It would imply that you're able to impact somebody else's free will. in their reality. In their reality. Can I explain how thinking you have something before you physically do makes it manifest? Yes, I can. I can explain that. How does thinking that you have it make it manifest? So quantum physics has this thing called the observer effect, right? And what the observer effect is, it basically states that nothing exists without consciousness. So what typically happens, or what does happen, is if you put a bunch of atoms, okay, if you could see a bunch of atoms, right? You could see a whole bunch of atoms. The atoms would actually not take form. They would not collapse. They would just be infinite, particles just floating around space that would be jumping in between this reality and other realities that would disappear, that would reappear. They would be random until you look at it, and then they would turn into waves. Right? So you collapse things into waves. When we think about waves are just reality. It's what you can see. All right? So everything basically exists as infinite potential until you put your mind on it. This is pure quantum physics. Right? So there's infinite realities out there just floating around in nothing, in imagination. And whenever your mind focuses on something, you make it reality. You make it a very real possibility. So when you focus on anything from a quantum physics perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, what you are doing is you are going into a higher dimension and you are choosing that experience. Now that experience is planted within your being and it extends from within you, and then you walk through third dimensional reality. It unfolds from you as third dimensional reality, and then you walk through third dimensional reality to actually understand yourself, to perceive yourself. All right. So, yeah. I don't feel like that was simple enough. I don't believe I gave a simple enough answer. If I didn't, I'll state it again. If you want me to do something simpler, I'll state that again. What if you get sidetracked in lower frequencies? Can you still manifest your life? I'm finna start talking to y'all a different way. If you already have it, okay, then what is a lower frequency and a high frequency? You already have it. You've already claimed it. You're already at the end. It's already unfolding from you, right? It doesn't matter how you feel. High frequency, low frequency, irrelevant. You're the one who... Anytime that you're asking yourself that question and you're saying, and you're making it conditional, anytime you're making it conditional with the question, then that question is irrelevant. You already have it, so it doesn't matter. All right? So when you ask questions like that, okay, what if this is going on? What if that is going on? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on. Who cares what's going on? It doesn't matter. If the story or if the question implies that you do not have it, it does not matter. You're never in a low vibration. How can you be a low vibration? You are God. You are the divine. You are God made manifest. How can you be in a low vibration? The only way you could be in that low vibration is if you tell the story that you are. If you say that you think, oh, I've been in this low vibration and now I'm jumping out. Remember, that's just a story that you're telling. Right? I was in a low vibration. Now I'm trying to get in a high. That's just a story that you're telling. So that is reality. Change it. You were never in a low vibration because you are source. You were never in a low vibration. Nope. I deny that. When you feel down, sad, think negative, no, it's not a low vibration. That's just an emotion. An emotion is God flowing through you. How can that be a low vibration? It is God flowing through, right? We see all these charts of consciousness, like the highest is bliss and the lowest is anger and fear. What do you mean? You can create with all of those just the same. You can create all of those just the same. You can create with all of those. That emotion is just energy in motion. Energy in motion. You are the alchemist. All of it is God. It's God flowing through you. It's God in motion. And just because of a story that you have, you feel it a different way, but it's all the same. Like hot and cold are both energies. You just feel it differently. All right? Hot and cold are just the energies. You just feel them differently. All right? So always, the only thing that makes them low vibration is you. You tell the story and make it low vibrational. Y'all funny as hell. All right, what else y'all got? What else y'all got? Shit, you know what I'm saying? If I wasn't so black, I'd be blushing right now. But fortunately, I'm melanated as hell. What else y'all got? What else y'all got? Yeah, I think the emotional thing was so important to me to learn because I consider myself to be a pretty emotional guy. I can get passionate about things. I feel deeply, and I've always just allowed myself to feel deeply. I've always allowed myself to feel deeply. So why would I run from who I am? Like I am perfect, right? Me implying that my emotions are too much or too little would be implying that, you know, this temple of the divine was made inadequately. And that's a fucking lie, right? You were made in the absolute perfection, in the absolute image of the Most High, right? Everything about you is pure divinity, it's pure perfection. I don't have to change shit. Even, you know, I will go even further. I say it with an open mind often. I'm like, if you want to go to therapy and do all the healing, do that. But from my own perspective, what I say, I live by, right? When I say you are perfect, you are worthy, you are whole, you are complete, you are all these things right now, I truly embody that and know that. When I see y'all, I don't see you as anything less. Don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you've been going to therapy for 7 years, crying your eyes. I don't care. You are still whole and complete. Absolutely whole and complete. And also, I'm also blessed to where I think I was able to be very mindful from a pretty young age and conscious when it came to my emotions and things like that. But the thought of me stepping into therapy right now, the thought of it just makes me, I don't have any problem with anybody doing it, but it seems to be against the philosophy of my life, right? That's just how I feel. Right? Now I have coaches, like life coaches, things like that. Like I have people that have helped me with trading. I have people that have helped me with money. But therapists would be like, I can't wrap my mind around it. And do I think intrusive thoughts are normal? Yes. Yeah. I think that thoughts are perfectly normal. Thoughts are normal. Emotions are normal, right? The intrusive thoughts, right? How do you stop them? Okay, first of all, you don't have to identify with every thought. That's one thing, is that we believe that we have to identify with every thought that we don't. Okay, but when I say this up front. I always say, you're not allowed to think against what you want. And I say this because I want you to become hyper conscious. Because that's the easiest way to create, is to be extremely conscious all day, walking around and enjoying life moment by moment. My mind's not glued to the past. It's not glued to the future. I'm right now. And if that thought comes up, then I tell the story of what I want. But I'm always walking in consciousness. But the truth is, as your thoughts are going, you'll notice a lot of your thoughts aren't even yours. Do you identify with everything? No. Because you can watch a movie and you're fully aware that you're not that person. So you're not worried about that happening. But all of a sudden, when it comes to the things that we want, right? When it comes to the things that we want, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, no, I have to think a certain way. Well, how can you not identify with this movie, but all of a sudden you identify with your negative thoughts? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Just know the truth. You don't have to identify with everything. So how you handle intrusive thoughts, if you want to drown them out, if you want to have your affirmations, do that. But also remind yourself that you're not even the thought. You're the awareness behind the thought. You're the thoughts that you accept, right? You are the I am. You are the formless I am. You are behind all of that. Yeah. I had a Christian tell me once that, no, not to Christians, of course, that getting to know myself was a right that was reserved for God, right? And going down that path too much was going to be demonic. I was like, God damn, really? I can't even know myself. I can't even know myself now? So that actually spins, because in the beginning of this, we were talking about fear. Right? I said how fear is not a good teacher. Right? Fear is not a good teacher. Whenever people try to get you to do things or not do things out of fear, you should ask the question, like, what do you mean? Right? So I'm told, okay, well, this is what I should believe, but do not do that. Don't go down this path because this path is wrong. It's demonic. It'll lead you astray, etc. Right? How can you tell me where my boundaries are? How can you tell me what's going to help me and what isn't? Right? Yeah, in the Bible, I don't. But that's the thing about a lot of organized religion is it's difficult to find consistency. There are some that you can find consistency in, but man, one of the reasons why, especially when I was first going down the spiritual path, I was always annoyed with so-called Christians because I didn't really believe that they even really live the Bible. So for instance, there are certain religions that if you do not adhere to certain standards, they won't even accept you anymore, right? You get tossed out. But with Christians, it's always this selective thing, right? Like, okay, is premarital sex right or wrong? Okay, cool. Well, it's like there's certain things that they want to double down on. There's other things they just let it go, right? So it's not even a consistent basis of morality. And then it was just hard to find someone who went down that path, the Christian path, but was open enough to talk to me about other things without, jumping into condemning it. So that's why I found a lot of difficulty with going down that Christian path. But I will say this at the end, that whatever path you go down, if it's right for you, it's right for you. It just didn't sit well for me. I don't like the fact that I could sit here and I can talk about my truth and somebody can just cut me off and be like, nah, bro, confess, you're going to hell, Jesus saves you, and all these. It's just like, what entitles you to believe that you can tell me about my salvation? Who the fuck do you think you are? Right? That always pisses me off. But other than that, if it causes you to have a good relationship, cool. But why are you trying to shove your book down my throat? Like, why? So there's just this spiritual ego. And that spiritual ego, you can find that in a whole lot of faiths. You can find that with spiritual folks. You can find that with folks that are down this manifestation path. You can find a whole lot of ego. But the moment that I, jump on somebody else for believing what they believe, and I just, bro, shut up. That's false, and it does happen from both sides, but it tends to happen more from them. But it's not something that that anybody likes to deal with. All right. Even if, what you believe is the ultimate truth, even if that is, or give other people the grace to find the path themselves. Give people the grace to find the path themselves. All right. And then it is still always about finding a path that empowers you as well, right? One of the reasons why for certain forms of organized religion didn't always appeal to me is because they felt limiting. It felt like it was forcing me to be small, forcing me not to look at myself the way that I wanted to. And didn't really give me control in reality. It was as if my goal was to come down here and have these desires and fight off some of them. And, if the other ones were right, in divine timing, I would get them, if they were righteous or not. So it's, I could get with that, but I could only get with that if there was consistency all around. And I've never felt like there was enough consistency for me to just say, okay, cool. Let me buy into that. Let me trust my salvation on that. It's like, nah. Because Scripture, and I talk about Scripture a lot, we can be honest, Scripture is a book that you can find contradictions in it. You can definitely find. If you go in there and start digging, you can dig a lot up in there. So this is why it's very difficult to debate the Bible. It's so difficult to debate the Bible because there's so many different perspectives. Right. Yeah, my phone just died. One second, y'all. Let me get it back on. But yeah, that's why it's even difficult to debate it, because there's so many different perspectives. But to each his own. We have to look in the mirror and say, am I willing to put my faith into this belief? If you are, then good, go down that path. But if not, find you something that works for you, right? Find something that is good for you. What other questions y'all have, man? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.